The thing that everybody is talking about is Tank came out and said he was gonna retire. Is that really happening?
That's his decision.
Yeah,
that's his decision. I can understand where he's coming from, though. I totally can understand.
Like, I have a house on an island. Y'all won't see me again, type shit.
Dude, Tank doesn't punch that hard. Tank really doesn't punch that hard. It's just he lands a clean shot, and a lot of us are either too small or completely dehydrated.
Leonard Ellerbe recently shared why Gervonta "Tank" Davis is considering retiring in 2025. He explained that boxing has changed, and no matter what a fighter achieves, fans are never fully satisfied. Ellerbe believes this can be frustrating for someone like Tank, who has given so much to the sport. While Davis is still at his peak, the pressure and expectations may be pushing him toward an early exit from boxing.
Completely changed his life. He's definitely very confident that he looks at a lot of things differently now than he did probably 6-7 years ago. You know, and that's the whole maturation process of men and women. You know, you grow as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'm sure that probably has a lot to do with his mindset.
So he is serious about retiring.
If that's what he said.
Yeah.
And we all heard him.
Yeah.
Right.
He hasn't told you anything about it?
No.
When you first heard it, was you shocked or you kind of...
Not at all.
You knew it was coming?
Well, because boxing is different. Boxing is different. It's different. The fans, not all, but they're never gonna be satisfied. I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm. Damn right.
It's never good enough what you do.
Yeah, no matter what you do.
And so sometimes that can be frustrating, annoying, but his decision is more about what he said it was about. You know, it's more to life than just something that you do for a living.
Yeah, and the fans don't want you to...
They think that because, you know, and you have a lot of respect for the fans who pay their hard-earned money to see you fight.
Yep.
But you have a life outside of boxing.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis had previously announced his intention to retire from boxing by the end of 2025. However, following his fight against Leonard Roach, which concluded in a majority draw, Davis has reconsidered his retirement timeline. The unexpected outcome and the subsequent criticism from fans have prompted him to extend his career, aiming to address the dissatisfaction surrounding his recent performance.
I wanted to ask you, earlier in the year you spoke about retiring after 2025. How does a result that maybe you weren't expecting or a result that you didn't think you deserved maybe change the course of your plans for your future?
Yeah, it definitely changed my plans. It definitely changed my plans. I probably got like 4 more fights now, for sure.
Critics have pointed out that Davis has yet to face top-tier opponents. This has led to accusations of him opting for less challenging fights, which has not resonated well with fans who are eager to see him compete against the best in the division. The perception of cherry-picking opponents has cast a shadow over his otherwise impressive record.
Tank holds all the cards. You know, he's the cash cow. He's the one, like I said, who makes these fights happen. I just think that he should go on ahead and move forward and fight Shakur. And put that Leonard Roach fight on hold. That fight will be there. Leonard Roach is not going anywhere. Leonard Roach now has a lot of fame, a lot of notoriety after this fight. My opinion, I think that Tank should just move on and go forward and fight Shakur Stevenson and give the fans what they want to see.
Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, has expressed frustration over the stalled negotiations for a fight with Davis. Stevenson emphasized that he cannot wait indefinitely for Davis to agree to a bout, and stated that he does not need Davis to advance his own career. This sentiment highlights the challenges in arranging high-profile matches in the current boxing landscape.
I mean, if he want to retire with the career that he got, then go ahead and do whatever you got to do. So I disagree with it. I think it's soft, but that's on him.
Do you still think that fight's possible? I know he might have a break after that fight with Leonard Roach, but do you feel like you guys could fight 2025 or 2026?
I ain't gonna lie, I ain't into chasing people around. I mean, if he's willing to fight, I'm ready to fight, and I think it should happen, but I ain't gonna lie, I can't sit there and chase you and then, you know, he could try to make it seem as though I need him and I don't need him, so.
In response to the criticism and calls for him to prove himself against elite opponents, Davis has questioned Stevenson's accomplishments. implying that Stevenson has not achieved enough to warrant a fight with him. This back and forth has fueled debates among fans and analysts about the merits and potential outcomes of a Davis-Stevenson matchup.
Who have Shakur? What have Shakur done? What have he done in the sport? He haven't done nothing. The young one is looking more better than him.
Who that?
The Keyshawn looking way more better than this. I keep screaming his name. He haven't done nothing. Keyshawn haven't even done nothing.
So what do you say to those who
I
might
keep
be
saying
afraid?
his name for?
So what do you say to those who might be saying that, Tank is afraid of Shakur?
Afraid of what? Afraid of what? Us fighters, if we're afraid of something, it gotta be somebody hitting us and hurting us. Like, he don't have no offense. Everything is defense. Defense only win in basketball and football. That shit win in boxing.
Leonard Ellerbe, CEO of Mayweather Promotions, has defended Davis, asserting that Tank has the capability to defeat top fighters like Teofimo Lopez. Ellerbe explained that arranging such high-profile fights requires time and mutual agreement from both parties, suggesting that negotiations are more complex than they may appear to the public.
I'm very, very confident Tank beats all those guys. All those guys. You name, any of them you name, Tank can beat them.
Where would a fight with like a Devin Haney or a Teofimo Lopez sort of sit on the grand scheme of his schedule?
I don't think that you can put a timeline on that kind of stuff because the big fights happen when they really make sense for both sides. And, I know the fans get a little impatient at times, and that's understandable because they don't really understand how the business goes. Tank's coming off of a fight where, he's made tens of millions of dollars. And Tank alone has been generating, 8-figure revenue every single fight. Tank makes you an offer, it's probably not going to be what you expect because you get paid on what you kind of weigh. Tank is here, and the other guys are there, and I'm solely talking about generating the revenue.
Discussions about a potential bout between Davis and Devin Haney have surfaced, but there are no concrete signs of this fight materializing soon. Ellerbe mentioned that some fights are not ready at the moment and emphasized that Davis is not willing to take a pay cut to facilitate any match, highlighting the financial considerations involved in organizing major fights.
Was there any talks at all with Team Haney after both of their last fights in April and May? Just because after both of their fights, their schedules were cleared and they're the two top lightweights.
And as I would say, some of those fights aren't ready at the moment. That's the best way to put it. Some of those fights aren't ready at the moment. And I think you can read between the lines. And one thing I do know, Tank Davis is not going to be taking no pay cut to do anything. He's the boss. So, again, is that all those guys are terrific fighters. I ain't got to call their names. They all are terrific fighters. They fight their behind off. But at the end of the day, Tank's that dude.
Davis has openly expressed his intention to retire, citing his discontent with various aspects of the sport. He has described boxing as garbage and indicated a desire to step away from the limelight, focusing instead on personal endeavors and spending time with his family. This sentiment underscores the mental and emotional toll that professional boxing can exert on athletes.
25 is after next year, I'm out of it.
After our second fight.
You're out of it?
Yeah.
Care to elaborate on that?
Out of the sport.
After our second fight. Nah, no, I'm gonna win, bro.
Nah, I could tell you my fights.
Beyond his boxing career, Davis has shown little interest in mentoring or promoting upcoming fighters. When asked about the possibility of signing prospects for GTD Promotions, he declined, emphasizing his decision to distance himself from the sport entirely. This indicates a clear intention to disengage from boxing-related activities post-retirement.
Why are you retiring?
What trash?
What changed? What made
this shit trash, garbage?
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
I'm out of it.
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment. and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Fed up with the
Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Ellerbe? Usually they're around to.
You think you might regain the love for it though? You never know. Like like you said, you got to swap today. Okay.
From the onset, Davis has expressed a desire to lead a secluded life away from public attention. He has mentioned plans to live away from everyone, suggesting that he seeks solace and privacy after years in the public eye. This desire reflects the challenges that come with fame and the yearning for a more peaceful existence.
How I'm going, I'm trying to get so much out of this and get away from it. Like, I have a house on an island, y'all won't see me again, type shit. Like, that's how I'm trying to beat. I'm trying to beat all this type shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to be around this too much longer. I don't even want the spotlight. Y'all can have it.
The aftermath of the Lamont Roach fight saw fans expressing their displeasure, especially regarding Davis's explanation for taking a knee due to grease in his eyes. Some fans pointed out that female fighters have endured similar situations without resorting to such actions, leading to further criticism and boos directed at Davis during the event.
Fight fans listening to the moment, Tank Davis says that grease got into his eye, which made him take that knee in round 9, and then listen in as the fans immediately turn on Tank and start booing him. I have one question for Tank. Tank, we have female boxers. I couldn't find any evidence of them taking a knee.
I just got my hair done 2 days ago and she put grease in my shit, so the shit was like, you know, like when you sweating and things like that and the grease come in my face, it burnt my eyes type shit. Damn, why y'all booing like I'm saying bullshit? Like, this is real facts.
Davis has articulated a need to focus on himself and explore other interests beyond boxing. He has indicated that there are other endeavors he wishes to pursue, highlighting a shift in priorities as he contemplates life after boxing. This introspection is common among athletes nearing the end of their careers.
So, you see a lot of athletes announce retirement and then come back, or announce retirement and then don't retire. How realistic is this?
It's real.
Has it changed? Have you been have you had any thoughts like, maybe I was tripping a bit?
Yeah, I do be having those thoughts.
Yeah.
But it's also too, I want to get myself together though.
Which is much more important.
Yeah, I really want to get myself together, like not retire, but take a break, you know. But the only thing is, I don't really want to do it. It's like other stuff I need to work on, you know, like being more there for my kids, going to school, you know, just building myself up as a person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As a great human being. That's what I'm focusing on.
When questioned about fulfilling pending high-profile fights that fans are eager to see, Davis has reiterated his intention to retire soon. He emphasized his desire to focus on personal matters, suggesting that boxing is no longer his primary concern. This stance has left fans and analysts speculating about the legacy he will leave behind.
How soon is it going to be before you're done? Because on several occasions, it's almost like you're alluding to, you only have but so many fights left. You're looking to walk away from the game. How close are you to that, being undefeated and unblemished with some big fights out there for you to get?
It's close for sure. It just I don't know. It's a little draining. I just want to step back for a little bit and just focus on me personally. You know, I feel like I've been doing this for some time now, and I just want to give myself a break and focus on just me as a human being, me as a father, me as a son, and things like that. And then
Rolly Romero, a fellow boxer, has downplayed Davis's punching power, suggesting that his knockout victories are primarily due to facing smaller opponents. Romero's comments add to the ongoing debate about Davis's choice of opponents and the legitimacy of his successes in the ring.
He was getting his ass whooped the whole time until what he says, he said to himself he threw a lucky shot. He said he didn't set up, he just threw it.
The shot that I threw, it wasn't really hard. I caught him coming in. I knew he was going to come in eventually because he wanted to hit me so hard, and I just got out the way at the same time.
And he walked off. He really didn't realize what had happened. You playing a game of chess, right? You know, you're pushing, right? Like, bro, you got this dude checkmated, right? You got him checkmated like 4 or 5 moves, right? You leave your back rank open, boom, and you get backmated, right?
There is growing frustration among fans regarding Davis's perceived strategy of selecting less challenging opponents. Once considered the face of boxing, His recent choices have led many to question his legacy. Critics argue that he is avoiding tougher matchups, opting instead to fight competitors from lower weight classes. This pattern has fueled accusations of cherry-picking to maintain an undefeated record while avoiding real risks in the ring.
Gervonta Tank Davis, you're supposed to be the face of boxing. Canelo is taking people from other networks and bringing them over to the PBC. It seemed that side of the street shit don't matter when it comes to Canelo. Canelo took Berlanga from the Zone and brought the man over to the PBC. How come Gervonta Tank Davis can't go over there and get William Zepeda and take him over to the PBC? Bro, Tank, we need 4 fights in a row with no tune-ups. We need 4 fights in a row with no tune-ups. No tune-ups. From this point on, we need no fucking tune-ups. No tune-ups, bro. We need heavy hitters from this point on. We need T.O., Devin, Shakur. We at least need them 3. Keyshawn Davis, who else? Floyd Schofield.
Despite his accomplishments, some analysts and fans believe that Davis's undisputed status is misleading. They argue that while he has dominated opponents, many of them have been significantly smaller or less skilled. His knockouts, which have earned him a reputation as a devastating puncher, are now being scrutinized in light of these criticisms. Many question whether he could achieve the same level of dominance against top-tier fighters in his weight class.
I'm wondering why people are always searching and looking for who Tank's next opponent is. Mr. Rehydration Clause, Mr. ain't gonna never be undisputed in his career. Mr. 31-0 ain't even been unified yet. But y'all out here wondering who Tank gonna fight next. It ain't gonna be nobody with some skills who could possibly beat him, I tell y'all that. Y'all see how they acting about the Teofimo fight. They don't even want to talk about that. They saying nobody can F with Tank. But the people we want to see who can F with Tank, they never make the fight happen. Ain't that crazy? Everybody, when it's time for them to fight a Shakur, a T.O., hell, fight Devin right now. Devin want a big fight. Devin want a title. Come back and get him a belt. Well, that's at 135. But fight Devin at 140. He coming off a loss. He ain't got confidence right now. I don't know why y'all sit up and wait for this boy to cherry pick another opponent, because that's all he do, fight fighters that can't have no chance of beating.
Veteran boxer Gary Russell Jr. has publicly criticized Davis, claiming that the new generation of boxing is getting weaker. Russell believes that Davis is not fighting the best competition available, which has contributed to the sport's decline. He pointed out that Davis was hit multiple times by Mario Barrios, a fighter he considers not particularly strong, which raises concerns about Davis's defensive abilities against elite opponents.
That Barrios is, I don't want to disrespect him, but you know he's definitely a fighter. But shit, I can't really say that because he was beating Tank. He was honestly beating Tank. I'm pretty sure that he was the easier of all of the other champions that's up at that weight division.
Taylor's the only one. Taylor's the undisputed.
Exactly. They ain't go at him. They're going to pick something that's a little lighter that they think they can do. And even with it being a little lighter, they almost got the short end of the stick. It almost bit him in the ass. He had to go out there and pull that out. If he wouldn't have, he would have lost that fight.
Davis's fight against Lamont Roach further intensified doubts about his dominance. Many expected Davis to secure an easy knockout victory, but Roach proved to be a much tougher opponent than anticipated. Despite moving up 2 weight classes to fight Davis, Roach gave him a hard time, exposing weaknesses in Davis's performance. The fact that Davis failed to secure a knockout has led some to argue that his past fights were against weaker opponents, and his true skill level was revealed against Roach. Whether he chooses to extend his career to silence the doubters or proceed with his retirement plans remains to be seen. However, one thing is certain, his next moves will significantly impact how he is remembered in boxing history.
Versus a guy that virtually nobody is asking for him to fight yet again in Lamont Roach. A guy that's moving from 130 to 135. A guy that has a belt at 130, but he still fight Gervonta Tank Davis for his WBA strap that he don't even deserve. But that's neither here nor there. Now, my opinion on this fight, this is another cherry pick. This is just Tank doing Tank things. There's nothing to get mad about. There's nothing to get upset about. We know that Tank is a fraud. card. That's why I call him Abdul Fahid. He's protected fighters in the sport today. He's supposed to be the new quote-unquote face of boxing. He's supposed to be the cash cow. With so many people clamoring for a fight with Shakur Stevenson, William Zepeda, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Floyd Schofield Jr., Abdullah Mason. Supposed to be the A side. Your side is supposed to send contracts. Gervonta Tank Davis said, fuck all that. I'm going to fight this guy that nobody want to see me fight. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. I am numb to it. I'm not going to get mad. I'm not going to get upset. It is what it is, because at the end of the day, as long as Tank is doing all these live gates, 100K to 300K pay-per-view buys, this man has zero incentive on fighting anybody worthy.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.